to me about your own personal failure that
Yes.
you've been through.
Okay. Or many of them. As I think I've talked to you about in the book, one of the reasons why I wrote the book was because I felt that it was the kind of thing that I needed 25 odd years ago. And I would have avoided a lot of hard-won, painful lessons if I'd have actually had some of the advice that I've written down. But let me give you a good example. So, as we said, I went to Cisco 2001, 2002. And I came from Hitachi, and John hired me to help set up a services division because Cisco at the time was selling routers and switches, so plumbing, internet plumbing, which very, very necessary, but it didn't really get you into the office of the CEO. And so John wanted to have a way of being able to talk to business executives about the power of technology and why they should be investing in it. And in particular, he wanted to talk to them using examples of how Cisco had used its own technology. And so he asked me to set up a services division to go do this, to go focus on the kind of top 200 customers that we had. And I did extremely well. First 2 years in the job, I was in the top 3 paid employees in the company. We were about a $25 billion company at the time, and things were going great. Then I hit a bit of a problem. So I'd been asked to come in and build this thing, to be basically a corporate entrepreneur, to build it, inside this giant thing. And as I went on, my job began to change from being scrappy to being sizable, and having to interact increasingly with a lot of other senior execs and negotiate how things were done. And I was a young punk, and I was very judgmental, and I was very much in a hurry, and I was very arrogant and conceited, and I got myself into a bunch of hot water with other people. They just, didn't like the fact that I was dismissive and in a hurry and didn't have patience and didn't want to listen and thought that I was right all the time. And so I got sat down, and summarily told by the head of HR and by my overall boss, like, you got to sort this thing out, otherwise you're not going to be around for a long time. And so, being the competitive guy that I am, I thought about what this actually meant. I actually got myself a coach. So, one of the reasons why I believe in coaching. And I thought about, okay, what do I need to do differently? So, I needed to not be as judgmental. I needed to be more curious and more open minded. I needed to take more time and listen to people. I needed to change my communication style to be more flexible. So instead of just being coercive and authoritative, I needed to be a lot more democratic and coaching, a lot more focused on building alliances. I fundamentally needed to kind of, take a stock and sit back. And it was a really great check for me. And it led to me thinking about what I was good at and why I was good at it and how I was going to get better. And so, that's a good example. There are a whole bunch of others where I've failed spectacularly.
Doesn't sound like a big failure, that. Help me understand why it was. I'm sure it was, but
Well, I
the way
mean,
you've articulated it sounds like you got a bit of a slap on the wrist by
no,
some
no, no,
corporate.
no, no. Much more than a bit of slap on the wrist. So, it's like basically if you don't change this stuff and you don't change it quickly, we're going to fire you.
Right.
Right. So,
Okay.
When you've been used to being very successful.
Yeah, your top 3
Right.
providers, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden
yeah.
you're brought back down to earth with a big slap.
Yeah. So you got to remember, I'd been on a long run from Anderson Consulting to Cambridge Technology Partners to McKinsey to Hitachi to Cisco, where I was basically the golden child.
Yeah.
I was the youngest VP in the history of Hitachi.
Right.
I was the only Caucasian on the main board at 33.
Wow.
And so, when you get sat down for the first time in your life and told this isn't working,
Yep.
and you need to do something about it, you need to
Serious
listen.
reality check.
Yeah. So, it's a lot more serious. I don't mean to be flippant about it, but it certainly allowed me to reflect
Yeah.
and to change the way in which I went about things.